The advanced combat theory classroom fell silent as Instructor Vexithera's 6 eyes swept across the diverse assembly of cadets. Her chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the harsh fluorescent lights as she clicked her mandibles together, a sound every student had learned meant serious business. "Today we discuss primitive weapons," she announced, her translator rendering her clicks and whistles into standard galactic. "Your assignment was to demonstrate the most effective pre-technological weapon your species developed. Who wishes to begin?" Cadet Zorthak from Proxima 7 stood first, his massive frame casting a shadow across 3 desk pods. The crystalline being reached into his supply kit and withdrew what appeared to be a simple shard of mineral. "The proximity blade," he rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "Our ancestors discovered that certain crystals, when properly fractured, create monomolecular edges, capable of cutting through nearly any material." Instructor Vexithera's translator buzzed approvingly. "Excellent. The marriage of natural materials with understanding of molecular structure. Next." A slender Altarian floated forward, her translucent wings shimmering. From her satchel she produced an intricate device resembling a metallic flower, the resonance disruptor. By creating specific harmonic frequencies, it can shatter the inner ear of most carbon-based life forms, causing immediate disorientation and often death. Sophisticated sonic warfare. Very good. The instructor's eyes shifted to scan the remaining students. Anyone else? Several more cadets presented their species contributions. Energy-focusing lenses from the light shapers of Kepler 442b, biochemical, dart launchers from the jungle dwellers of Ross 128. Even a gravity manipulation staff from the high-pressure world of Glisa 667cc. Finally, Instructor Vexthara's gaze settled on the lone human in the back corner. Marcus Chen had been quietly observing, his dark eyes taking in each presentation. With the calm attention that had unnerved his classmates since orientation, "Cadet Chen, I notice you haven't presented. Where is your species' primitive weapon?" Marcus stood slowly, his movement causing several nearby aliens to instinctively shift away. Humans had a reputation, whispered stories from the frontier, wars, tales of their unpredictable adaptability in combat situations. "I don't have one with me, Instructor," Marcus replied, his voice carrying the peculiar calm his species was known for in stressful situations. Vexithara's mandibles clicked in disapproval. "You were given 3 standard cycles to prepare. This assignment represents 20% of your grade." "I understand, ma'am, but I don't need to bring a weapon." Marcus gestured casually around the classroom. "I can make one." A ripple of what could only be described as nervous laughter passed through the alien students. The concept seemed absurd, creating an effective weapon from nothing but classroom furniture and educational materials. "Very well," Vexthera said, her tone suggesting she was humoring him. "You have 10 minutes." Marcus nodded and immediately moved to the instructor's desk. With practiced efficiency, he began dismantling the adjustable height mechanism, extracting a long metal rod. His movements were precise, economical, each action serving a clear purpose that wasn't yet apparent to his observers. Next, he approached the emergency equipment locker, retrieving a high-tensile cable designed for evacuations. The Altarian cadet whispered something about typical human disregard for regulations, but Marcus seemed oblivious to the commentary. From his own supply kit, he produced standard-issue utility knife, regulation for all cadets, and began carefully cutting and shaping. He split one end of the metal rod, creating a notch, then moved to one of the flexible desk surfaces, cutting it into a specific curved shape. "What is he doing?" the crystalline Zorthak rumbled. "Making something that shouldn't work," replied a mantis-like student from Vega Prime. Marcus ignored them all. He was entering what his human instructors called the zone, that peculiar, mental state where the chaos of combat became a series of solvable problems. Every human warrior knew it, whether they'd learned it in the asteroid mining conflicts or the infamous ground war of Centauri. He attached the curved desk material to the split rod, creating tension. The evacuation cable was carefully measured and tied at specific points. Within 8 minutes, he held what was unmistakably a bow, crude by Earth standards, but functional. Impressive craftsmanship, Vexithera admitted, but a bow requires arrows. Marcus smiled, an expression that made several aliens unconsciously step backward. From his desk, he retrieved his writing styluses, each about 20 centimeters long, and perfectly balanced. With his utility knife, he quickly cut small notches in each end. "Instructor, may I have permission to demonstrate?" Vexithera gestured toward the reinforced back wall, used for energy weapon testing. "Proceed." Marcus knocked one of the improvised arrows, drew the string back with the fluid motion of countless hours of practice, and released. The stylus flew across the classroom and embedded itself into the reinforced wall with a solid thunk that echoed through the sudden silence. "Effective range?" Vexithara asked, her professional interest clearly piqued. "With proper arrows, up to 300 meters accurately. These improvised ones may be 50. Rate of fire, 8 to 10 arrows per minute for a trained archer. Completely silent. Uses no advanced materials, no energy sources, and can be constructed from virtually any available materials in under 10 minutes. The silence stretched as the implications sank in. While their species had developed sophisticated weapons requiring specific materials, precise manufacturing, and often external power sources, the human had created an effective killing tool from classroom furniture. Furthermore, Marcus continued, retrieving his embedded arrow, this design is approximately 40,000 Earth years old. It's not our most primitive weapon. It's actually quite advanced compared to sharpened sticks or thrown rocks. But it demonstrates a key principle of human warfare. We don't just adapt to our environment. We make our environment adapt to us. Instructor Vexithera's 6 eyes studied the improvised bow with newfound respect. She had read the reports from the frontier wars, but seeing this practical demonstration of human adaptability made those accounts suddenly much more credible. "Class dismissed," she announced. "Cadet Chen, please remain." As the other students filed out, several casting worried glances at Marcus, Vexithera approached him directly. "In 30 years of teaching advanced combat theory," she said quietly, "I have never seen such practical application of adaptive warfare principles. That bow represents something far more dangerous than any of the weapons presented today." Marcus carefully disassembled his creation, returning the classroom to its original state. "How so, Instructor?" "The others brought weapons their species spent millennia perfecting. You demonstrated that humans don't just carry weapons. You are weapons. Given any environment, you'll find a way to make it lethal." She paused, her mandibles clicking thoughtfully. No wonder the frontier wars ended in stalemate. We were fighting an enemy that turns their surroundings into arsenals. Marcus shouldered his pack and headed toward the door. "With respect, Instructor, the wars didn't end in stalemate. The official reports say what they need to say for diplomatic relations." Marcus paused at the threshold. "But we didn't stop because we couldn't win. We stopped because we realized we didn't need to." As the human departed, Instructor Vexithera found herself staring at the small hole in her reinforced wall. Tomorrow, she would need to file a report about today's demonstration. She was not looking forward to that conversation with the Academy Command. The hole seemed to stare back at her, a tiny reminder that somewhere in the galaxy, there was a species that looked at an empty room and saw a weapons cache.